Courtney here with Knowledge Well Media, YouTube, CCOP Research, Facebook. Listen up. If I can get this to play here. All right, one moment.
Mortgages are essentially a type of fraud, a constructive fraud, in that the alleged purchaser of let's say, a piece of real estate believes that they have actually been loaned some money from the bank or financial institution. So they are coerced into providing collateral for the alleged loan that they never actually receive. And so they initially fill out a promissory note, and loan documents, and putting their signature to the terms of that promissory note and loan documents actually creates the finances and the assets which the bank actually puts into their books as a credit, which then they're able to loan out many times over. But the fact is that the actual credit is created by the signature on the promissory note by the applicant for the loan, the alleged loan. It's not created by the bank. It's created by the one that comes in and fills out the application. And then what ends up happening is the house or piece of real estate that you went and picked out acts as collateral against or for the alleged loan. So in a nutshell, the mortgage or death pledge is actually not attached to the piece of real estate. It's attached to the loan. And the real estate acts again as collateral for that loan. So in a sense, the applicant went and picked out a property, a piece of real estate that they in fact would enjoy having, and inquired about it. And then without having to do so, goes to a financial institution or bank and says, I need a loan for X amount of money. So then of course the bank does the whole credit check. Why do they do a credit check? Because they're trying to see if you can create enough credit with your signature. Because that's what it all comes down to. It's you creating the credit that the bank or financial institution is going to be able to attach to their institution as an asset. You create it. That's why they check your credit record, your credit file, because you are the creditor in the situation. So you create it with your signature. You create the asset. And so the only necessity in reality that needed to happen is that you go again and pick out a piece of real estate or something that you want, and then you act as your own financial institution and generate a promissory note with terms of pay, on terms that you would pay back or discharge the debt. Okay, because really there is only fiat currencies. There's really no gold backing to any dollar, and therefore everything is merely discharged. Okay, as part of the bankruptcy. Okay, in 1933, House Joint Resolution 192. Okay, so you're supposed to be using your transmitting utility, which is the legal entity, okay, to discharge and set off these debts. The only real relevance of the banking institutions, Wells Fargo, J.P. Morgan Chase, and all that, is that they're credit worthy. Okay, they have clout, and so if you go to them and you create these credit swaps, create these assets, okay, and they put on a piece of paper backed by your signature that you have $250,000 credit extended, that when people see J.P. Morgan Chase's name on that check, they're more apt to accept it without question, as a form of payment. And then the seller takes that check and deposits it into their account, and then the system perpetuates, and the bank that is the depositing bank recognizes the C.P. Morgan Chase name, and it has much weight and credibility and clout. So there's no questions asked. Transaction assumedly accomplished. So really, these financial institutions and banks are just really underwriting as like an insurance company. They're really just underwriting the debt obligation created. Okay, and they're underwriting the promissory notes and all that kind of thing. So they're the backing to it, and they're able to profit off of it, interest and all that kind of stuff. But in the long run, what we're doing as applicants in this scheme is we're actually helping them to double and triple dip, because you're actually paying them with your hard-earned fiat currency that you are paid on a weekly or biweekly or monthly basis. You're coming and paying that actually with those fiat notes, debt notes, when the actual credit that the bank receives for the alleged loan has already been discharged and satisfied with your signature. Okay, the people, we create credits with our signature, promissory notes. Okay, because remember, there is no true money anymore, because it has no gold backing. It's only backed by its citizens, the citizens being the legal entity or the transmitting utility, or the straw man, some people call. Okay, that is actually what the system is backed by. And then the men and women, the physical flesh and blood men and women, are actually the energy, okay, that give life to that legal entity, straw man, transmitting utility. Okay, we are the custodians, tasked with the duty and obligation of handling all the fiduciary duties, investing, and what have you, to increase the assets and the proceeds and interest attached or on behalf of that legal entity. Okay, because it can't act on its own. It cannot act sui juris. It needs a man or a woman to act for as a representative or custodian for it. And so the two are supposed to be distinguished, separate and distinct. The man is supposed to be separate and distinct from the transmitting utility. But oftentimes we find ourselves identifying as the transmitting utility, as the legal entity. And that's where we create that alter ego. All right, and we no longer have corporate protection or that corporate personhood, which absorbs the liability. In fact, creating an alter ego allows the law to see past the creature of the charter, which is that transmitting utility straw man, and looks directly to our own assets, our individual assets, because we are, in fact, identifying to be the same as the transmitting utility. That is, by definition, the alter ego. You're creating a second self. And so, I contend what we must do is, first of all, correct that status, creating a separation, a distinctiveness from that transmitting utility, merely acting as a custodian of and not as the straw man. And then handle the books correctly, and 100% of the liability should be put in the right place, which is on the transmitting utility, which is the creature of the state. So the law can only, if you look at case law Myers versus Owen, the law is only supposed to look to the creature of the charter, and the charter is the social compact between the citizens and the state. Citizens and the whole people is the term that's used. Okay, and so these transmitting utilities, legal entities, are the creatures of the charter, and that's where the law is supposed to look. And being that the state is the owner, all liability goes to the owner, not to the individual, sui juris. Okay, because the law in a corporate setting, in a municipal corporation or what have you, a state corporation, political body, is never supposed to look to the individual. It's always supposed to look to the creatures of the charter. And so we need to direct the liability to the proper place, and that is to the state, that is to the federal government, and not upon ourselves.
All right, so if you have any questions, contact me, KnowledgeWell Media, KnowledgeWell for you, the number 4, the letter U, media, at gmail.com. Let me make sure that's correct. KnowledgeWell, let's see here. You're thinking all this time I would have known what the email is. Yeah, so KnowledgeWell for, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. Also, if you need help with trust building, an establishment, you can also contact me there as well. Or if you have any problems in law, I'll say, you can also contact me. Okay. All right. So you have the information there. Hopefully that helps you with a few things. Again, if you have questions, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Get this information out there. Knowledge is powerful. You can also check me out again at CCOP, or CCOP. So that's CCOP on my Facebook page. All right, for other videos. Thank you.